Jean, here we are on the Dartmouth waterfront, your stomping grounds.
The dark side.
The dark side, and behind us is kind of a calm, sleepy harbor, which in many ways is a nice metaphor for the way this election's been going.
Yeah, and I think it was by design. I mean, I don't think, talking to people as I've traveled the province, that a whole lot of people are fully engaged in this particular campaign.
I think that's a fair assessment, and I think that for any party that's trying to hold power, you're okay with that. You know, if you think back to 2017, the Liberals had a lot of people angry with them, most notably the teachers union, because we had just come off a one-day teacher strike and the imposition of a contract, and there were a lot of people actively campaigning against them, and we aren't seeing that this go around. And obviously, in the case of the Liberals, who now have an 8-year record to answer for, that's a nice position to be, other than that first week stumble that took place here in Dartmouth South with a Liberal candidate who's not on the ballot anymore. So far, it seems like the Liberals have managed to avoid any overwhelming issue threatening their position.
Yeah, and what a way we have come from way back in the olden days, 1999.
That's when I graduated from high school.
Yeah, when the then Liberal government of Russell McClellan got booted from office for suggesting that we needed to spend $600 million on healthcare in a health investment fund. And now we have that the party that booted him from office promising to spend $500 million on healthcare to fix it once again.
And though the Liberals should rightly be judged for the failures of the past and what it has done to the present-day healthcare system, it's the failure to plan for and invest in the future.
It is an interesting juxtaposition to see the Tories talking about spending big dollars, particularly on healthcare, as you mentioned, with the Liberals, who are saying, oh, you don't want to overspend, you don't want to spend more than you need to, you've got to spread it out more, and they're also promising to balance the budget sooner than either of the other two parties.
So you have a choice to make. You can support a party that is promising billion-dollar deficits that will impact these types of key programs and impact the sustainability of our programs, or you can support a plan that charts a clear course to a bright, equitable, and sustainable future.
That's the challenge for the opposition parties, who are really trying to mobilize their troops. The NDP are really trying to grow their base.
And all of our candidates are experiencing on the doorsteps a real engagement, a real interest.
And they'll be targeting, I think, in the last half of this campaign, seats that may be a little wobbly for them, or they hope to make gains. For the Conservatives, obviously, they have to try and make gains here in Metro Halifax, and of course for the Liberals, it's simply holding on to what they've got.
One of the things that I think is going to be crucial in this election is this early vote. You know, folks have the ability to go out and vote almost immediately from the time that the writ drops. And that advanced vote we saw in 2017 was the difference maker for the Liberals from having a minority government to a majority government. It was a long night back in 2017, many close ridings. And then when the counting stopped from people who voted that day to the advanced ballot boxes, suddenly the Liberals ran ahead in a host of districts, and that was what ultimately put them ahead and got them that majority government.
In fact, I was in the curling club in Bridgetown, where you saw the premier of the day, Stephen McNeil, start a much more conciliatory speech, victory speech, and then quickly turned as he realized he was moving from minority territory to majority territory. Who ends up with the broadest smile on the 17th when they count the ballots? Well, that's still to be determined.